The Music is Life podcast has our own merch now over on tpublic.com. Click the link below in the video description. Looking for some new threads? We got t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, tank tops, baseball tees, and also clothes for kids and onesies for your little infant metalheads. Don't want clothes but love the Java? We got you covered with coffee mugs and travel mugs. Need protection for your electronics? We've also got phone and laptop cases. We've got everything you're looking for at the tpublic.com Music is Life podcast store. Use my link below for fast service. Thanks for your support. TerraNut is proud to offer you a natural nut bar chock full of healthy fats, minerals, and protein that meet your demands. Go to their website, www.terranut.com. You can order from them directly and they will ship it to you. Use my coupon code Lou Mavs and you will get a 25% discount on your first order. TerraNut Superfood Snacks, www.terranut.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Lou Mavs at checkout. Fuel your life.
Severed Angel, the deluxe edition of the self-titled debut album, available now. Pick up your copy today over at severedangel.com. Available on all streaming media platforms. Severed Angel, get ready to ride the dogs of war.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do?
We are ready and waiting for you now. If it's a fight that you dare see, we've acquired our strength through pain. No more are we pathetic again. You are the reason why we claim that we've all become this way. And I regret this prison that I created for myself. Who can it be? Who makes us cry? Who won't save us from ourselves? I close my eyes and then I pray that revenge can be as sweet as it sounds. We are the rebels that force from your hate as you play out. Someone want to fight with you, to argue to, or make the love yell. My heart still beats, my eyes still cry, and I can't forgive you for this.
Yeah, a lot of those. So the I expect 110% every time we go out there, no clams. I remember a band director literally staring me down saying, "Do you know how to play this piece? Or are you just acting like you don't?" In the middle of everybody.
Wow.
Sat there embarrassed a little bit, a little red-assed, and then dusted myself up and played it better. Got to the point so that he pushed us so hard during the we do summer pre-show workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And the junior year of high school, we were doing 70s music, and we were doing Frankenstein from Edgar Winter.
Very awesome song.
Very awesome song. Well, the brass had the guitar, so we were going to play the guitar. And he looked at us and just went, "I want this loud." And so we got to this point where, like, our embouchures, our lips were splitting from all the work. Like, we were in physical pain doing these songs all day into the night till like midnight, and then going to sleep and then doing it again the next day for an entire week straight. And we were just pounding it. I mean, we were doing the full runs with the guitar. We were doing everything, the entire solo.
That's insane. That is an insane solo from Mr. Rick Derringer.
Yes. And I do mean like that. So we would do the beginning where he's doing all the things, and then like we would break out, and then it would be the drums doing the entire drum solo, our snare drums, and everybody doing that as our drum solo, as our part where we're just marching, not playing. But yeah, we're playing the freaking chorus and everything to that thing. We're freaking, and he wanted it loud. It got so bad that I started ringing notes through the hallways of our high school. That's how
How
loud it was,
how far did the echo go?
all the way down the school.
Oh my god.
It was, it got so bad. Like when I did it, he turned. It went, what was that? And then, and then he looks at it, he goes, down. He's like, all right, I have officially, you've officially gone over. Now I have to rein you back in. So yeah, I mean, he he was extremely hard taskmaster, but also um was a person who would defend the students when
Mhm.
people wouldn't. This man got fired being a band director for defending one of his band students against criticizing another teacher.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
After 40 years of being the band director, he got fired because he criticized the teacher on Facebook, defending a student who was complaining about it.
I think you mentioned that was a
Yeah.
while ago this happened.
Yes. This is a while back. This is about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, this was 10 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I have heard those verbal eviscerations before. I mean, he would do, if you screwed up a halftime show, it would be nothing to in the middle of like right on the end of the side end zones, you know, where they have the big area where like
Mm-hmm.
usually you have the track and field pit.
Mm-hmm.
It would be common for us to be doing push-ups in the middle of the crowd if we screwed up something that bad.
Well, you want to be in something. If you want to belong like you're part of something,
Yeah.
then yeah, I can understand that mentality where it's like, you fuck up, you know,
Yeah.
you pay a penalty.
And you know, he caught it from the drum and Bruegel choirs of DCI. He got that from the University of Tennessee, you know, probably the Southland. It's a thing, and he had multiple people in every single college marching band in the area.
Mm,
Somebody from his band was in those bands.
mm.
So the ETSBOA, the biggest one of the area, the region, with everybody the regional bands, we always had a handful, like 8 or 10 people in those bands.
Mm.
So we're talking, you know, out of 600 people, out of, you know, 60, 80 schools, 10 of us were there.
Got it.
So, I mean, it was hard. It sucked. There were days where you just wanted to throw stuff. You wanted to punch him a few times. Even I got into his face once, and he had to he had to calm it down a little bit because I was just like, I'm not taking this abuse from you anymore, old man.
Oh,
You know?
I mean, I think to be good in your craft, you need discipline.
I get it.
And my first instrument, and I mentioned this to you, was trumpet. I told my father that I wanted to learn guitar, and he said, "How bad do you want to learn a guitar?" And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" He's like, "Are you willing to learn another instrument first before you pick up guitar?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Okay, because our church, St. Demetrius, is having a Saturday orchestra band. Why don't you go down there, test it out, pick an instrument, learn that. If you get good at it, maybe I'll get you a guitar." So, I picked trumpet. I wish I had picked saxophone, but I picked trumpet instead. And, they started you on third trumpet. They teach you hot cross buns. They teach you the scale, the B flat
B
concert,
flat scale. Yep, B flat scale.
and also the chromatic.
Yeah.
How to keep maintenance of your instrument. And I realized that before I get into trumpet one, I gotta pay my dues. But it got to a point where I was still third or second trumpet. Mr. Barry Delman, one time he heard me playing clams as Barry as a Buddy Rich stated, and he pulled me aside. He said, "Lou, I can't believe I'm going to say this to you, but your playing today was utter bullshit." And he's like, I can't have this in my band. And I said, Doc, all due respect, I just don't feel like applying myself if like I'm forever going to be the third or second trumpet. And like these guys are really good, but it's like I'll never have my chance to like grow. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, ooh, did I just make a mistake saying that?
No, you didn't.
Well, he saw that I was upset and he figured out, why don't you take the baritone horn?
Yep.
And I was like, what's the baritone horn? And he pointed at it. I'm like, that thing? And you know, and he said, yeah, it's the same keys as trumpet, same, you
Yeah.
know, same
Well,
B flat
this
concert,
is the
everything.
same as a euphonium player, absolutely. So I did the same thing. So
So I picked it up, and all of a sudden, it's like I found my instrument.
yep.
And you know, this was 2 years after picking up trumpet, and I played it for like about 9 years straight, and I loved it because I was like, finally, I get to like I get to have an instrument that I'm known
This
for.
is your thing, yeah.
And you know, he was so good at like turning, you know, chicken shit into chicken feed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was so good at that. Um, him and my high school music teacher, Dr. Daniel Burwasser, were probably the two music teachers that I learned the most from. And like I still apply like their disciplinary tactics to me playing the guitar because you know you've heard the Severed Angel album.
Yes.
Playing those parts and practicing them in case of the one time we ever do make it to stage, it's not easy. So you know you have to keep your chops up. You have to keep up your conditioning to be able to play that stuff. I had one teacher though in middle school. He said, "All right, everybody, play a B flat concert C." That was great. I'm like, we didn't even tune. He's like, all right, let's
Yeah.
go to the first song. And I'm like, you know, that's when I realized I feel like public school in New York City at the time was just a way to pass you through just to get you out of middle school,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And
So like for me, I had a very similar path, obviously.
mm,
Mine actually happened in eighth grade is when I realized I was never going to progress as a trumpet player and moved to the baritone.
mm,
Um and then so what made me realize I was going to be good at it was hearing a judge actually comment saying, okay, you found something with that kid in the with the baritone. You found something with that kid.
mm,
Work on that. You know, because it was a lot of, you know, just because it was a middle school band, we're all going to sound like crap, you know, but we're going to try our best.
mm.
And he's trying to pick all the things out. And then I get to Tennessee and I'm starting right back where I was. I was first chair in Nevada, straight to third chair in East Tennessee.
Mm. My story when I went to college, when I went to St. John's University, I auditioned for the pep band. I choked with the baritone horn.
It
And I
happens.
was so disappointed in myself. I said, you know what? After I graduated high school, I'm never picking up an instrument again. Like that's how much it got to me because I feel like I let Dr. Delman and Dr. Burwasser down, you know? And if anyone I grew up with is watching this and is laughing at it, you got to understand that these two guys were like my mentors, you know? So like them and my brother, like those are like the three men in my life who were the most instrumental in me, you know, trying to shape myself into becoming not just a good musician, but just constantly getting better. And, you know, it was a freak accident. And I hadn't played guitar that entire summer. And then I went on a campus ministry retreat my freshman year. Somebody left a nylon string on the acoustic. Somebody left a nylon string acoustic on the piano, and I just picked it up and I started playing it. And then all of a sudden, like one person started coming to me, two people started coming to me, 10 people started coming to me, and they were like, "Can you play this? Can you play this? Can you play this?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "How am I doing this right now?" You know, like normally I get stage fright or I get shy, but it's like for the first time in a long time, it's like I'm playing and I'm playing for myself now. So
exactly.
it's like all of a sudden it's like I achieved like this. To quote Bill Murray in Caddyshack, I achieved total consciousness or something like that. And I'm sorry, I'm almost wrapped up with the story. So, I was jamming with these kids and whatever. And then all of a sudden my buddy Jason Crawford said, "Hey, then this was my last semester of my senior year." And he said, "We need a baritone horn player for the for the jazz band." And I was like, "Oh, what do I get out of it?" He's like, "Oh, you got a grant." I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do it." So I got a nice little check in the mail, and that was pretty cool. So I was playing baritone horn again, soul guy there. We had some great stuff that we were playing. Then all of a sudden, senior concert comes. The guitar player no shows, just no shows. I had my Les Paul up in the college radio station because sometimes I brought it over and I would just jam stuff with friends of mine. And Mr. Motley was his name, Bill Motley, great, great conductor, was like, we need a guitar player. And then all of a sudden, Jay Crawford's like, "Lou's got his guitar up in the radio station." And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't practice the songs on guitar." And he's like, "You could transfer it." I'm like, "Oh, no." And Mr. Motley's like, "Can you play?" I said, "Yes, sir, I could play this stuff." He's like, "Then go get it, boy. Go get it." And ran up the stairs. I almost hit my friend Carrie Olson. Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie. I almost bulldozed you. I'm sorry. I love you. Anyway, so I ran into the radio station, grabbed my guitar, went back down, did a quick tune, set it up and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, we break into Sing 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 and a bunch of other stuff. And he gives me two solos at the end of the concert. It's like, "Lou, these solos are yours." And one of them was Smooth by Santana.
Oh gosh.
Now, I'm not a Santana fan. I prefer the Abraxas album more than the Supernatural album. I think anybody with a brain cell would. But
but I mean, I still enjoy Supernatural.
That's fine, but I prefer Abraxas. So all of a sudden he's like, "All right, Lou, your turn." So I knew the song and I knew the da the noodle parts.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I break into a solo, and I'm only supposed to get 4 measures, of the break. And Mr. Motley's like, "Keep going, keep going." I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, I just keep going, and then all of a sudden, he doesn't stop me. I'm like, "Don't you want to get to the saxophone player?" He's like, "Keep playing, boy." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not fucking with this dude right now." So yeah, it's needless to say, that brought me back to stage.
The biggest thing I remember from Dr. Glenn Rogers, for me, was actually every time you were doing interviews with all the band directors, he had the most outlandish way to recuse himself.
And what way was this?
He would literally sit when he would go, we would sit down in the interview. Of course, we're wearing our goofy band uniforms that look like red coats from the British Army. We sit down and he just does this.
Head in hand.
Just
okay.
Just sits there like that. Starts looking at all the other band directors dead in the eyes. He's doing that. He's not doing that to me. He's doing that to everybody else except for me. Of course, I also felt like he's probably doing that because he knew I got no problem public speaking ever. I was never the shy butter. I was always the peacock ready to fly. So he just knew, just put the kid down in the seat and let him go. Just unleash this kid. I found him 3 years ago. Just let him go. Just let him go.
No, but I will say this. I don't think it's a bad thing to be a hard ass in music, because sometimes you have to be, when you're performing. And look, I mean, art is subjective, but playing the piece, either do it right or don't do it at all.
Exactly.
There's a reason why certain songs are set to the beats per minute that they are. There's a reason why it's important to make sure that you're in tune every time you play. And don't get me wrong, man, I love punk rock. I love Helter Skelter by the Beatles. That song is way out of tune. You know, when a song is being released as a statement, that's one thing. But when you're playing a composition and your stuff isn't up to par to where it should be, and you still go on stage like it's no big deal, I kind of can't respect that. And if people are like, oh well, it's easy for you to say, I'm like, yeah, it is easy for me to say because I put that standard on myself.
Exactly.
I have Dr. Delman and Dr. Verwasser and my late brother Mike to made me appreciate the fact that being on stage is a privilege. Being
Exactly.
able to learn an instrument it's not a birthright, you know. Show that you could do it or get the fuck off stage.
The fun part about that was, yes, performing and being in the performance is the gift, is what you've worked hard for. That is the gift. The funniest, I'll remember every time I was on, out competing on the field, some of the goofy stuff that happened that they just nobody noticed except for me and him. That was
Mm,
it. Nobody knew, like, hey, like one time I remember I took a step back because we were going, I was doing like a 30-yard freaking movement, that ball, that phrase.
mhm.
And I took my first step and I sunk into mud
Ah,
and I had to catch up. Or when I had to bulldoze a guy, a poor freak, during the parades, these guys with these stupid junk carts were out there trying to sell crud to kids. And we were told, freaking run them over.
mm.
If they're in your way, take them out. And I did this thing. I tucked the horn, shoulder charged it into the third row of the cart, and it just popped right back up like it was nothing.
I've had to El Kabong some people.
Yeah, the
I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed to admit it. But it had to be done.
the funniest one was this one of the flag girls was this one part of the show would do a acrobatic routine. She was a gymnast and an acrobat,
Mm.
and for some reason our second competition show, and you could hear even the judge goes, oh, she's rolling up on the guy, and he just kicked her right up.
Uh,
She rolled up right on my foot perfectly, that I just did one little quick kick to fly her back up into the air, do her little spin.
oh my
Just
goodness.
some of that stuff, and he's like, what was your thought process in that situation? She was on my foot.
There you go. So I guess in hindsight, although it's hilarious listening to Buddy Rich curse like a
Chew,
sailor
chew,
against
chew
his
somebody out. Yeah.
to chew someone out. It was cannibalism, sir. Okay, he
I mean,
digested that.
I mean, he just left a little less on the bone than some others have. Okay, I mean, I've joked, I've been yelled at by the best of them. Ain't nothing gonna phase me in this world.
But yeah, I hear you. But I will say this. I mean, you know, for his caliber of performance, regardless of how I feel about him because of opinions on music outside of jazz, which I incredibly disagree with him on. Um, I'm not going to deny his importance in the world of music and how he shaped drummers that came after him. Neil Peart, Peter Criss, and even Carmine Appice, a piece as he likes to call himself. Reference Buddy Rich as an influence. The man was a legend, and it is a legend. And if he wanted the best out of his band because that's what he expected out of himself, I can't blame him.
I can't either, especially when you say the results speak for themselves. I mean, obviously, if he was going out there playing like shit and he was ripping the other people for playing correctly, then that'd be one thing. But if he's holding himself to that standard and they're not holding themselves to that standard, they're calling themselves professionals. That's the biggest insult to that world I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never confused myself with being a professional musician. I never will. My skills stopped at high school. However, I could still to this day, when somebody marches out of formation or plays a freaking note wrong and plays a clam, you're damn right. I'm gonna hear that thing from a mile away and go, and hear the 911 chants,
Right.
here it comes. Because I mean, you might have fooled the rest of this world about getting paid for this gig, but you're not going to fool me.
That was a situation that I found myself in with my previous cover band, Hard Drive. Um, Even in its initial formation as Shockwave, the guitarist that was in the band didn't understand proper usage of an amplifier or how to use the pickup switch. You know, keep it on the treble for rhythm, switch to the neck pickup for solos. He would do it in reverse, and one time I actually modified his amp so that it sounded just right. And he completely screwed it up again by touching it after I was done, to the point where it's like you couldn't hear my bass.
Yeah.
And the drummer couldn't keep time if you put a metronome next to him.
Mm.
You know, um,
Here comes Dr. Beat for me. That was the most egregious sin we could ever commit.
So when the guitarist quit because of a disagreement on something with the drummer, I got suckered into playing the guitar again. And mind you, I was on vacation that week. That Monday, I'm in front of the Stone Pony in Asbury Park with my wife. I get a phone call. Lou, the guitarist quit. Can you play guitar this weekend? And I was like, this is a hell of a time to ask me. But I said, sure, I will. So mind you, I'm on vacation. I'm getting text messages and phone calls every day from these guys. And I'm just like, guys, I'm on vacation. Leave me alone here. So, Friday we come back. I do the show, goes off without a hitch. And I'm thinking, all right, maybe this was the piece that we needed. Me on guitar with my buddy Doc Reinhardt on bass. And that's when we switched the name to Hard Drive. And for 2.5, 3 years, right until the time COVID occurred, we were doing 2 to 3 shows a week. And I was playing a Les Paul, switched to Strats because the amount of shows that we were doing was killing my back.
Yeah.
Because Les Pauls are much heavier than Strats. But every time we had rehearsal, it was like the drummer didn't know the song. Every time we went on stage, the drummer couldn't keep time. So it just got to a point where I just said, you know what? I'm only making like $100 a gig. Like, I realize this is a hobby at this point, but I'd rather play with people who know how to play and not get paid than have to subjugate myself to this crap.
and now you just have a drummer who can keep time. He just can't keep his mouth shut. No, I'm kidding.
If Wayne can hear you, he can keep time.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's
Yeah.
a joke.
But anyways,
got to break the boss's balls a little bit,
That's right. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm glad that we got to talk some wrestling and we got to do the Buddy Rich tapes. It was a fun listen, and hearing us talk about our high school band stories. It was fun for us. We hope it was fun for you.
Oh, the old war stories, they're the best.
Yeah. James, you got anything you want to plug?
Just everybody follow the Saturdays in the Fall Facebook page and the YouTube page. We're doing our best to do 2 shows a week. Sometimes the days aren't always figuring out. We're the same as Rat Salad right now until hopefully soon. It's still a hobby. We're not getting paid to do it, so we're having trouble trying to navigate life and everything else going on in the world. So, but it's a good football podcast. We do college football all year round. We enjoy talking, even during the what everyone else calls the off season. We do not call it that. We just call it talking season and actual during the games. So Just follow that and then enjoy Rat Salad Review, especially when I have to change scenery back here. Go away from the mountains and go more to the rolling hills.
There you go. And we're actually going to come back to Rat Salad Review on the 27th of September, where we're going to be talking with Steve Rosen, who wrote a book called Tone Chaser about the late, great Eddie Van Halen. So we're excited about that. Then afterwards, for Sweeps Months, we're going to be talking the Ozzy discography and the Kiss discography. Then I guess eventually one day for Manny, we'll do the Alice discography, but that's going to take
Yeah.
forever.
You were saying we're saying this as you know, Ozzy has an extensive discography of like 6 songs or 6 albums.
Ozzy's got 13,
Oh God, yeah, it's true.
and Kiss has, I lost count.
Yeah, Kiss has too many. That one's gonna hurt. Now, will the person who did this idea actually be in half the shows?
I better. With the Kiss ones, it's like, you may have to do 3 albums a week, but thankfully they're all a half hour or less.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, they're not that long. I mean, they don't do was it Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner type songs?
James is not going to forgive us for doing Iron Maiden versus Judas Priest.
Never. You will never, ever, ever stop me from that. Okay, I suffered through a lot of that.
Yeah, but it was a fun
not my
run.
bag.
That's
It's
okay.
not my bag. I admitted it. I did my best, and I was as objective as possible.
Thankfully, I can meet you halfway on similar musical tastes, so that's a good thing.
Exactly. I didn't expect mine to be great, but anyway, let's let me stop the Irish goodbye because it's late.
It is. James Lillquist from Rat Salad Review and from Saturdays in the Fall. Thanks for coming on Music is Life podcast. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check us out over on my link tree. That's Music is Life podcast. And also check out the mothership, if you will, Rat Salad Review over at ratsaladreview.com. We are 200 hours away from monetization. Make it happen.
Yeah,
James Lillquist,
because we want to make major motion pictures, baby.
that's right, baby. If you will. And please let us will. Anyways, James Lillquist, thanks for coming on the show. And remember, all art is valid, including wrestling and Buddy Rich diatribes. Cheers.